Fight Night Starcraft Edition, featuring some of the top players from around the world, with 25,000 in prize money on the line. Who will go home the Starcraft champion? This is Fight Night.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Fight Night here at ESGN TV. Last time we saw Hasselhoffs defeat Grubby 2-1. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of this entertaining series.
Grubby taking a pretty strong first victory. Grubby is microing his heart out, but it's not going to be enough.
Game number 2 goes to Hasselhoffs. He ties the series. Hasselhoffs will advance on. We had some fantastic games from Grubby and Hasselhoffs in the previous Fight Night, but now we have more on the way for you very shortly. My name is Kyle Laris, alongside Artosis.
That's right. Happy to be back with you, Kalaris. I think that we're going to have another great match here tonight, but we don't know exactly who's going to be playing against TLO.
Yeah, TLO is already in one of those player slots, but now he has quite a few players that he could meet, and some of them are very, very dangerous indeed.
Oh, I think every single player here at the Fight Nights is amazingly good, and all of these are going to be hard-fought victories.
Certainly so. And then, even if he moves on, does he then keep going? We'll have to find out. But for now, we can send it over to TLO and Frodan to see exactly who he's going to be playing.
So Hasselhoffs decided to walk with the money, so we have to pick our players. The first one we have already established is TLO.
Hey.
Dario, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, how are you?
You excited to play?
Absolutely.
We gotta find out who your opponent is. Are you ready to spin?
Definitely, but my luck is probably gonna be a 3-name acronym coming up.
All right, well, good luck. Okay, it's player 3.
It's gonna be White Ra.
White Ra, TLO versus White Ra. A rematch from the SC Reddit Invitational way back.
Yeah.
Hello, this is me, White Ra. My name is Alexey Krupnik. I'm from Ukraine, city Odessa. My love is a strategy game. At my young, I play a lot in chess. I like chess, and Starcraft, for me, it's close to this game, to chess. And this is really smart games and mind games. That's why I like RTS and especially Starcraft Brood War. I think this is #1 game history, balanced game and smart game, but when coming to Starcraft 2, of course, everyone transition.
My name is Dario, but you probably know me as Liquid TLO. I play Starcraft 2 and I'm from Germany, originally from Leipzig, but nowadays I live in Berlin. I think my strongest attribute as a player is that I have a pretty flexible playstyle, but it's maybe also my weakness because I have a hard time settling on a playstyle that I just try to, become as good as possible. So it has its pros and cons.
All right, TLO versus White Ra, a match of fan favorites. Gentlemen, shake hands, good luck. May the best man win.
Starcraft 2 is a one-on-one real-time strategy game made by Blizzard Entertainment. Players choose one of 3 races, Terran, Zerg, or Protoss, then develop their civilization and fight against opposing armies. In a game of Starcraft 2, there are a few key things to consider: the resource count of minerals and gas, the power of the army and population, often referred to as supply count, and the overall map control. Players that have significant advantages in all 3 areas are usually in a prime position to win. So the key to Starcraft 2 is to know when to develop your own strategy and when to concentrate on your opponent's plan. A player wins when he has eliminated all the buildings of his opponent. Starcraft 2 players need a combination of immense physical speed, mental fortitude, and devious strategies in order to come out on top and crush their opponent. So here's the rules for Fight Night Starcraft 2. 8 world-class players are chosen at random by the heartless ESGN TV wheel. They are going to battle each other over 7 brutal matches until we have the last man standing. But the stakes are high. Players can win from $500 right up to $25,000.
And there we have it, TLO versus White Ra as our next series. 2 huge fan favorites here in the European scene.
Yeah, these guys are just so famous. Everyone loves to watch them play, and to have them play against each other in just the second Fight Night for StarCraft, That's a treat.
Yeah, it really is. We've already seen them quite a lot against one another in Heart of the Swarm. They've taken maps off one another here and there, but TLO currently sitting at a 9-to-5 map win ratio in terms of how things have gone. So TLO certainly has the advantage when it comes to the numbers.
Well, he himself said he is very confident about it. So, you know, I am leaning towards TLO winning this one, though. White Ra, he's a pretty clever guy. He definitely has a chance still.
And he certainly is. If anything, White Ra certainly brings very, very cool, innovative tactics to the table. But at the same time, you've got a player like TLO who recently was able to have some great showings. For example, if we cast our minds back to ATC2, where he was able to go toe-to-toe with MMA up to the very brink, but not unable to take that victory. Still a very impressive showing by him.
It'll be cool to see who wins here as well and how far they choose to go. When do they run with that money, or do they possibly lose it all? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, but it looks like we're just about ready to get this started, so let's go over to the game.
All right, well, game number 1 now on the way between TLO and White Ra. Best of 3 format. Our first map will be Star Station. They're now spawning up to the top left-hand corner here as our blue Zerg. Representing Team Liquid, he is TLO. And down to the bottom right, we have our red Protoss. Representing TT Esports, it is White Ra.
Well, they are both fan favorites, and I gotta ask you, players, because I know you are one of the biggest StarCraft fans in the whole world. Who's your favorite here?
In terms of raw skill, I have to lean towards TLO and the way he's been able to play things out. We saw him during WCS Europe have really nice showings, back in WCS Season 1, even making that top 5 finish, going on to the season finals. Seasons 2 and 3 didn't quite pan out for him as he would have liked it, but still showed some good, strong games against some really, really tough opponents.
That is for sure, and yeah, White Ra's been a little bit off the radar, but this is a guy I go so far back with. He was a StarCraft 1 pro, and he's done very well for himself in StarCraft 2, but as of late, he hasn't been doing it as well yet. He doesn't have the results TLO has recently.
No, he certainly doesn't, and then he's going to have to try and make up for that in this first game even, I should say, as, well, White Ra's already opened up with a gateway first, and personally, I love the decision for Protosses in general nowadays to be going for that gateway expand as opposed to the Forge expand.
Yeah, it definitely is more popular, but that leads Zergs into a lot of hatchery first play because you can't really punish it. But this game, TLO has decided to get a 15 pool. It looks like he's just going to play a safe and solid opening.
Well, he's going to try and get that hatchery down. He does just before White Ra's probe is able to rendezvous with that location. And he'll head up here and have a look around. Notice that it is indeed that the pool first play. And then from there on, he's going to know what's going on.
Well, that's fine by him, I have to say. This is what you actually want to see with a gateway expand, is that they went pool first. There's nothing tricky going on, no gas is taken or anything. So he'll just harass lightly with this probe.
Yep, and that probe just zapping away, as you rightly mentioned. But behind this, I love the gateway opener from a Protoss as opposed to the Forge, because it puts the Zerg on edge, right? I mean, they're so used to playing against the Forge play that most Zergs feel pretty comfortable for it. But with a gateway opener, as a Protoss player, you have so many more options to be able to put on aggression early.
That's right, and in fact, he might be doing that. He only has 1 gas so far, so we'll see if he follows up with like a 4-gate. But that could be really good because TLO is getting his 3rd hatchery with no gas taken.
And he only now just gets confirmation of the fact that this Nexus has gone down without any relative knowledge of the Forge being behind this. So he pretty much knows it's a gateway expand from this point on. And now, obviously, this is where TLO has to be careful and be cautious on the map. He already said before this began that he was going to keep an eye on, you know, every angle with his Zerglings swarming, making sure nothing crazy is happening.
Well, the place that White Ra should be taking his 2nd gas is a place very hard to scout. So if he chooses not to, it might be hard for TLO to really know what's going on. We're going to see in a second here, but to me, Caleris, it really is looking like he's going to follow up with maybe a quick 4-8, or could this be a really fast 3rd?
It would be ambitious, it certainly would, but it could happen. You know, we never know with White Ra, as for now, I guess is on the way here for TLO. I imagine he's going to be wanting to go straight up to that speed very quickly. You can't be too comfortable against something like this from White Ra. You have to know and have to be well defended with something like speed.
Well, it looks like White Ra going to play a much more normal opening. He's gotten his second gas now, added a couple gates. That's to help fix the wall in. And now we just have to wait and see what is his tech choice. Does he go for a Stargate? Does he just go straight to a Forge like we're seeing here? And looks like, well, it is that Forge for a quick +1 upgrade.
Yeah, just grabbing that and being able to shred through those Zerglings once they come along. It's very, very important for a Protoss. But at the same time, what are we going to see from TLO? The Zerglings are already heading out. He's going to control this and try and catch those, but the presence of 2 Stalkers is a little too much for those 5 Zerglings.
Yeah, 2 Stalkers plus a Mothership Core. He might be able to do something like pick off a Queen. Let's see. He actually throws down that Time Warp, and he is targeting down the Queen oh so quickly. I do believe this Queen will be going down. A second one coming in to try to help. Now he's just got to get out of here with these units. He does not want to lose the Mothership Core or even the Stalkers.
Yeah, with the fact that TLO was keeping on top of his macro with that Queen, he didn't have energy for any transfuses with that second Queen, so would not have kept the sustainability going there. And White Ra, if he saves, that's, well, there's no way. I mean, the speed's about to finish, right?
Yeah, he should be losing this Stalker, and in fact, the other one probably as well, but he forced some Zerglings out, he killed a Queen. It was kind of okay what he did here.
All right, well, +1 armor is going down here for the Zerg as...
Whoa.
Wow. A very impressive save there. There's another Stalker, though, trying to get home. Will it be able to? The support of the Mothership Core might actually help out. Ah, no, not with those Zerglings now flooding on forwards.
Well, right now we do have that third Nexus coming up for White Ra, and it looks like he's taking CJ Sora's Protoss vs. Zerg style. It's really very flexible. Oh, but he's out of position here, and it looks like he's going to have to cancel his Nexus.
Yeah, these units don't really have the firepower to be able to deal with so many of these Zerglings. He throws out the force field, and that will buy him some time to be able to push those away. Good save.
Yeah, very nice save indeed. Not having to cancel that is fantastic, but TLO, he decides, well, I'm going to make 15 drones if you're going to take a third this quickly, so his economy is going to be very nice.
Yeah, there's 2 huge options whilst these Zerglings still try and do some damage, but they're not going to. There's the 2 options, isn't there? There's the full macro-economic focus from a Zerg after seeing a third base and being super greedy, or you try and punish it. And at this point, with the tools he has available to him, with the lack of a Roach Warren or any kind of extra mobile units to get over there, he doesn't think that the aggression option is the right one.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think the aggression option is all that good myself here. There's a lot of sentries out. Of course, the Mothership Core is flying around, and White Ra has already shown pretty darn good micro.
Oh, yeah.
Just saving the Nexus there, not really losing anything to the second Ling run-in. So it looks like everything's stable, and he's going to be able to tech up.
And essentially he's just going to be able to tickle away at this one Overlord, which does get quite a lot of information, seeing everything that's going on in his opponent's base pretty much. These poor Zerglings, they're kind of trapped, and they're going to try and scoot on out, and they do manage to get out. Might even try and go for a probe, but no, decides otherwise.
Just 3 Zerglings left, but this is what he was talking about. He's trying to stay on top of everything. He's scouting over and over and over, spending those extra Zerglings.
And I like the option here for TLO to go from Ling straight into Hydralisk. White Ra, as of late, what I've seen from him when watching his stream, etc., against Zergs, is a lot of Stargate plays. But just in general, Hydralisks give you a very, very strong mid-game when you're getting them out with Lings.
They're very safe. You can put on aggression if you need to, but look at this. White Ra's doing a good job of scouting. He's sending out these Phoenixes that are hallucinated, seeing what's up, and he's actually teching up into just the +2 as well as Colossus tech, and that's a solid choice here.
It really is, and that 4th base is just about to finish up as well for TLO, so he can start getting that economy really, really flourishing off the back of the Spire that's already going down, and he's getting a few Lings out, realizing that his opponent's army is a little bit further towards the middle of the map than he would like it to be. So just getting a sprinkling of forces out here is very important.
Well, I gotta say, I really love the strategy choice from White Ra. This is my favorite way to play Protoss vs. Zerg right now. This very reactive 3-base play, but TLO is reacting very well also. He's getting that Spire out, and he'll be able to get Corruptors or Mutas, his choice, based upon what he sees and what he gets done here.
There's a lot of Zerglings to Hydralisk, but at the same time, there's a lot of space control with those force fields to be able to prevent that from actually occurring, but he's basically goading White Ra out at this point. Sitting between that 3rd and the natural is a very, very hard position for Protoss to be in, but he doesn't want to get caught. When Hydralisk doesn't.
Well, some Zerglings did in fact get in there, and that's what he was aiming for. He actually gets to take down that cannon, forces the Nexus cannon as well, but eventually those Lings do get cleaned up.
and that's again, it comes back to what we saw in our previous fight night, where we saw Grubby positioning himself between the third and the natural of Hasu Obs. You get in those spots, and then you are able to really force your opponent to react, and a little bit of damage, not too much, but he's transitioning on behind this is TLO.
Well, he's going straight into Mutalisks, and that's probably the scariest thing that can happen to a Protoss, is trying to stop that Mutalisk switch, especially when you've gone Colossus. This game, if TLO stays on Mutas, is probably going to turn into a base trade eventually.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nowadays, this almost always comes out from very, very tip-top Zergs, as it's such a powerful strategy to actually deal with from the Protoss side of things. He's got a Colossus out, he's getting a second one, Blink's on the way as well, but right now, he doesn't have too much intel that this switch is coming about. Oh my god.
He's trying to pick off this Nexus right now. A nice Lynx around, whereas he baits the army over to the side, and it looks like he gets it. Very nice moves by TLO.
That was absolutely brilliant. Just really luring him down there, and always having that game plan of trying to lure him down towards that natural, really constantly poking at it. A phenomenal move there. And the Mutalisks, they're flying across as well. He's lured him so far out of position again.
He certainly has, and he will lose those Hydras and Lings, but these Mutas can definitely make up for it, coming right in. Starting to target on the cannon instead of any units, but some Lings are coming in to help out, and it looks like he's going to get a lot of damage done.
Lings are so important against these Stalkers now, as they get warped in to try and push this away, but the Lings are providing excellent firepower. Still more Lings will try and funnel on through. The Hydralisk blocking out for a second, but White Ra was so out of position for a long time.
Look at this, he's also targeting down this Nexus. Can he get another Nexus kill? That would be just huge, and he does get it. The Nexus goes down. A big moment for TLO, and White Ra now knows that he's in a ton of trouble. What does he do from here, Claris?
Exactly. I mean, his economy is in tatters, so all he can really do is say, well, I'm going to have to try and go. Otherwise, I know my opponent's economy is always going to run me over. Mutalisk is still in production. Spinecrawlers are going down. TLO knows that time is against him here.
Well, you know what? He's right now grabbing a whole bunch of spine crawlers. He knows that this is happening. White Ra is all-inning across the map. Really, this is the only way that he can possibly win. But with this many Mutalisks out, I'm not sure it's going to work.
We'll take down one spine crawler. The fourth base is completely destroyed from this point onwards, unless for some reason he wants to come back and save it, but it doesn't even have to, as he is just going straight for the kill himself. Mutalisks and Lings absolutely laying waste to everything that is Protoss. It's so hard from this position for White Ra.
Well, White Ra can't even make anything else, really. He's losing everything. His main base, his natural, his third are all being razed. In the meantime, though, he is dealing a lot of damage to TLO. The thing is, how many units will TLO have to fight this army when it comes down to it?
Well, he's just going to continue killing off building after building. The majority of the gateways are now underpowered, and well, despite having like 1,200 minerals to his name, as White Ra, he still can't really make anything of it. So he's going to be stuck with this army. Blinkstalkers can trade very effectively against this army, but it's going to be difficult.
He's got to be really cost efficient here. He's got to take down these spine crawlers, put his immortals in the front, let the Colossus kill them off, but every second he's not killing everything is another second for more Mutas and Lings to be made.
Oh yeah, that's certainly true. Whilst every building currently under assault, TLO in game number 1 has played this out brilliantly, not only positionally, but also his awareness as to where his opponent has been at any given moment in time.
That's true, but we can't count White Ra 100% out yet. He's got to be careful. He's going around picking off any building he's seen with his very mobile units while the Mutas and Lings are busy. Once those Mutas and Lings come back, though, he absolutely has to keep his army together and probably around one of his very last Protoss structures.
Oh yeah, and he absolutely needs, you know, the Guardian Shield to be up. That's almost a given at this point. It's going to soak up a lot of damage from those Mutalisks once it comes along, but everything needs to get together. Everything needs to be right there, right then.
Well, what buildings does he have left here? He has almost nothing. He's going to go ahead and make this a simulator, but these units are going to come right up and kill it in like 2 seconds. Yeah. He's got to be careful about this.
He's actually suiciding right onto that with a lot of them, and there you go. GG eliminated. TLO takes game number 1. And again, he had no more buildings. It wasn't even a quit out. White Ra stayed into the very last second to try and make something happen.
You know what? That was actually a lot closer than I thought. Either player was probably expecting it to be there in that base race. TLO just got up, did the surround so quickly. You know, there was still some creep for him to run on. Mutas and Lings just so fast. And White Ra not able to secure an alive building at the end.
It's a tough thing to have to deal with as a Protoss going into a mid-game when these Mutalisk transitions come out oh so often. People argue you need a Stargate at least already functioning and good to go when that hits, and the scouting needs to be absolutely precise.
You know, it's kind of interesting because during these base trades, generally the stronger army is the Colossus army. They've got the Colossus to clear up Lings, they've got the Stalkers with Blink, the Sentries for Force Field and Guardian Shield, whereas it's against just a lot of Lings and Mutas. But the Lings and Mutas kill stuff quicker, so they're gonna clear out that Protoss base, and a lot of the times it does come down to where do you put your last couple buildings as Protoss and how do you defend them against the army that's coming back.
It's such a tough one, just in general. Well, we're going to be getting into game number 2 here in just a second. Can White Ra look to tie up the series? It's an important one for him.
Yeah, it certainly is. If he loses this, he's out.
Yeah.
And TLO has won 500 big ones, Claris. A lot of money on the line. White Ra not wanting to be eliminated yet.
Not at all. And he's going to be spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner here as our blue Protoss. He is White Ra. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg. Representing Team Liquid, he is TLO.
Do you think that TLO is going to go ahead and open up with a 15 pool once again?
That's a good question. I think he actually could, and being one game up, actually go for hatchery first here. Because, I mean, he saw what his opponent was doing in game number 1. He knows the opening that was there. So if that's going to be the case again, I think White Ra does favor that gateway expand a lot here.
Yeah.
You know, why not?
I think that that's really White Ra's style, is things like the gateway expand. And the thing is, though, I look at this and I think TLO might go for the pool first again, because he said he wants to play really safe. He feels like in a longer game, he's going to have a higher win rate against White Ra. And how do you get to a longer game? Well, you hedge your bets. You play safely against everything early on so that your greater late game later on can carry you through the rest.
It's a good reasoning. It certainly is. You just don't cut corners and play it on out. But we'll see what he wants to do here as that drone count's rising a little bit.
There's that 15 and the spawning pool.
There you go.
So same openings as the previous game.
Yeah.
Will White Ra play that Sora style once again? I think that he will. I was actually talking to him about strategy before this match, and he's saying he really does like this style. It's very flexible. It allows you to do a lot of scouting with how many sentries you get. That hallucinated Phoenix, of course, always very useful.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what White Ra wants to do. He doesn't want to be caught with his pants down.
With the way the third setup is actually on this map in comparison to our previous map, it's going to be a lot safer. I mean, again, of course, there is the potential that a lot of Lings can flood in there, and then it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things how the architecture structures out. But still, he was able to execute it very nicely in game number 1. Why not game 2? Why not?
We'll see how that goes for him. He is scouting. It looks like the same build order so far to me, Claris. Chrono was in quite a few probes out here. In the meantime, TLO just getting his queen, getting a couple Lings out. A complete mirror of game number 1. So let's talk for a moment while we watch these guys kind of build up to the same spot. This format. Like it, dislike it. Tell me your thoughts.
Loving it, man. Loving it. In terms of what we can actually see and the unpredictability of who we're going to get next, I like the excitement factor, man. I'm all about the excitement. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so fresh. It's so new. And to think that, let's say TLO does win this, he has to decide, do I bet it all?
Exactly.
And go on to another opponent and win even more money? Or, you know, is this enough money for me? Is this okay? Is this what TLO wants for this turn?
And it's not like it's an easy decision either. I mean, we're seeing the players deliberate constantly as to, do I want to take this money? Do I want to go on? Who's left? Who's there? Who's already been eliminated? There's so many factors that go into those decisions that maybe these pro players overanalyze as much. They are very analytical guys in the end.
Indeed, indeed. Well, as we see, still looks like it's about on the same path. TLO should be starting his speed upgrade pretty soon here as he approaches that 100 gas, and that's going to help him against the harassment that I believe White Ra is going to send out once again in the form of 2 Stalkers and a Mothership Core.
It's a good form of harassment. It can get out there and try and deal with something. You have to be careful as to when Speed's going to end up finishing, of course. But we already saw White Ra was able to save his first Stalker that I thought was going to end up dying.
Ooh, look at this. He might be able to snipe this Overlord. And this is one of the best things about making a Stalker early on. Not too many Protosses do it, but when you do, a lot of times Zergs don't have their Overlords ready in hidden positions.
And that's a really important Overlord. That's the one that gets into the main and has a little bit of a look around and says, what tech are you going for? Because good luck to the other one to get there, up in the top left-hand corner of that natural.
That's such a good point, Caleris. If he decides to go for some other type of strategy, like let's say a really quick 7-gate, or maybe even an Immortal push, how does TLO possibly scout that out?
Exactly. It could open up a good window of opportunity here. White Ra, we all know him and love him. He is an opportunist when he likes to go for these things. So we'll see if it does come to fruition. It could do, but he's just going to poke out with these Stalkers for now. Speed's going to finish up very soon, though.
Yeah, and you know what? He just made 12 more Zerglings, so he has more than enough to just surround and kill these Stalkers in a matter of seconds. He's trying to hide the numbers of Zerglings so that White Ra doesn't run away too quickly.
Well, the first Queen is under assault again. Mothership Core trying to help out with these Stalkers, and unfortunately for him, trying to block with an Evolution Chamber. Not too bad an idea. The Zerglings are going to get this round, and these Stalkers, bye-bye. You extended a little bit too far.
Yep, he loses 2 Stalkers early on. He did do some damage, though, right? He prevented some mining time, killed a drone, killed a few Lings, forced a lot of Lings, and that's nice, but 2 Stalkers, that's quite a bit.
And the adaptation here for TLO to actually add on that many Zerglings and now swing over to the third base, he knows it's there. He's going to try and pressure it a little bit, but those 3 Zealots, if they position themselves rightly, should be okay for a second. Oh, but they get a great surround.
Yeah, that's some huge surface area for those Zerglings. They'll be taken out in a matter of seconds, and this time the Nexus is going to have to be canceled.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage that's being done here. These 3 Zealots trying to save as best they can do, but TLO's going to control as diligently as possible. He may get the probe. He's feeling a little bit apprehensive as to go back, and he will get one surround.
Oh, and in fact, once again, I miscalled the Nexus cancel. I thought for sure he'd be able to force it that time, but White Ra, with some fancy micro, sending his Zealots around and preventing it.
TLO, he just wants to keep those Zerglings alive and keep them on the map, making sure that nothing's going on, right? Just making sure that he was well defended. If he can't kill that, no worries. Game 1, pretty much the same thing happened, still won that anyway. Mutalisk's pretty good unit, so...
Pretty good unit. Agreed.
They do well for themselves, they really do. Double Evolution Chamber's going down though here, though, for TLO, so that is a bit of a deviation.
That's right, it looks like he wants to go more upgrade heavy. Maybe this, oh my god, he's getting 2 Hydralisk Dens. That can't be right, right?
No, it is. It is.
Ooh.
I've seen this quite a few times now. In fact, I saw it very recently in a Go for SC2 finals that I was casting. Just going for both of the upgrades and then powering across, getting really, really aggressive. It hits really, really hard. Very hard indeed.
Yeah, you don't expect them to have both upgrades when they get over that quickly, so... we'll see if White Ra can handle this. He is going for a faster Colossus tech, so that's nice, but these upgrades are going to be done pretty quickly by getting 2 Hydralisk.
Yeah, and look how everything lines up there for TLO. So that's a scary position for White Ra to be in. He actually needs to get in there and scout the fact that there's the 2 Hydralisk Dens down. But he, as you rightly point out with the Robo Bay, you know, he has the opportunity to transition on to deal with those Hydras.
Well, right now he's trying to walk around, trying to force some units out with 3 Zealots, but I don't think it's doing anything aside from what TLO already wants to do, which is produce a lot of units.
Yeah.
When you're going for all these upgrades all lined up like this, of course you're going to make units to hit your timing.
And this Phoenix is going to head across, see the double Hydralisk Dens, and now he knows exactly what he's playing against. He saw them both whirring away. There was nothing hidden about that. And no, don't lose the Mothership Core.
That's actually extremely painful that he lost. That full energy Mothership Core would have been so helpful in the upcoming battles. And already the Hydra's getting down here. All their upgrades about to finish.
Oh, that's a catastrophe. It really is. Double time warps, double anything to try and force this away. But the Hydralisk just plowing on across. The Zerglings and Hydra's also going to engage in these. There's no Zealots to tank for this. There's so much damage being done. TLO closes the gap, closes the distance, times out everything wonderfully, and will be able to absolutely decimate this force.
Oh my god, Caleris, that's too much damage. You can't lose all those sentries. He lost the mothership core as well. I would be so surprised if he could save this Nexus. He's already taken a lot of damage this game. With those Hydras coming up that +1, it looks like the third base is going to fall as well.
A very well executed, crisp play here by TLO, looking to absolutely dominate this third location. The Hydralists are going to go to town on that Colossus. That ends up falling, and game number 2 will soon fall to him as well. As for now, the Lings just flood straight on in and continue to deal damage.
White Ra knows that if he loses this, he is out, so he's trying to stay in this game. He's trying to hold on to this third, but GG and well played coming out of White Ra. And TLO with a pretty quick 2-0 victory.
Looked very, very dominating. Superior there in game number 2, especially as everything was just lining up so nicely for him. And again, we're seeing this double Hydralist play continue to rise in popularity. It was in the Korean scene for a little bit. It made its way over to the European scene now as well. And I'm seeing it more and more.
It's pretty cool, man. Yeah. I mean, look at that. He gets those upgrades so quickly. Both upgrades, very, very important. Hydras without speed, not too scary. Hydras without range, not too scary. But once they have both, which is obviously normally a lot later because you have to upgrade them one after another, then they're pretty frightening indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad to see White Ra go, but he just wasn't good enough this time. TLO takes it home. So let's throw it over to Frodan and see what White Ra has to say.
Thanks, Galeris and Artosis. Well, White Ra, you didn't manage to beat TLO, but you had a really close game number 1 where you base traded after he forced you to attack. Can you talk to me about the closing seconds that went through your mind, because you still had a lot of resources to build buildings?
Yeah, you know, Dario make very smart move. At beginning I have advantage, I harass Dario very well, kill a lot of Zerlings, kill Queen, not let building drones, and same time make third base and very easy protect my base, and I have lead in this game. But Dario make very smart move. He sniped my third baseman. I just a little bit move far away from my third base, and after he transitioned to Mutalisk. And I not expect so early Mutalisk. I just waiting Mutalisk 1 minute later before I finish my upgrade on Blink.
Yeah, Dario played a really good series. He said Zerg vs Protoss is his best matchup. You said you weren't really sure, but I still think you put up one hell of a fight. Thank you very much, White Ra. Do you have any final words and shoutouts?
Yes, I want to say thank you very much, fans, for support. I try keep fighting and make my best in future. See you on next tournament.
Well, it's always sad to see White Ra go, a great competitor indeed. But now we have to figure out, does TLO run with the money or does he spin the wheel again?
It's a good question. It certainly is, as we saw HasuObs run with the money. Now, do the Germans continue on with the trend, or does he look for bigger bucks?
Well, let's throw it over to Frodan. He's with TLO at the wheel, and we'll see.
Thanks, Galeris and Artosis. Congrats, TLO. Your play looked very decisive and clean throughout the series.
Thank you.
So now it's time for a really important decision to make, because you've earned yourself 500. But you also have an opportunity to win even more money if you spin the wheel for another opponent. Sarah, please come up on stage and present to you the choice. You have 15 seconds, Dario. Take all the time you need and think about it.
Oh, okay. That's a good amount of money. Buys you around $1,000 of beers in Germany. That's 3 beers a day for a year. Right. Well, thinking about the players in the pool, so I think I will take the money.
All right, Darrow's gonna take the money and walk. No one can blame him. Congratulations, Darrow. You've earned 500.
Well, congratulations, TLO, on a nice victory and a nice wad of cash. And the style you used, it was kind of interesting with the double Hydralist upgrade. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a style I've been using for around like 2 or 3 months now. And I feel versus Protoss is all about hitting an early timing, especially to punish early third bases. One of the reasons I came up with it, that mass Void Ray style has been very popular lately, and especially against Void Rays, you need range and speed, but it works a lot against other styles too, because sentries are really dangerous with force fields. As long as you have speed and range though, you can still, you know, pack a punch and do very well against gateway compositions as well.
Scary build indeed. But TLO, I have to ask, why did you take the money now?
Well, you know, it's a lot of money, and I'm not a person who gambles a lot, so I think I'm just trying to make a reasonable choice. I'd rather not walk home with nothing, so this is a nice bonus for me, and it's gonna be well spent anyway.
Well, that's good to hear, but since you're gonna go ahead and leave, we need 2 new players for tomorrow night. So let's go over to Frodan and White Ra and figure out who those players are gonna be.
Thanks, Caleris and Artosis. Congrats once again to TLO. White Ra is joining me to help decide who our new players are going to be.
So I hope we now find some very good players.
Well, I'm sure you're going to pick the best.
I expecting some Koreans.
Okay.
Number 6.
Player 6.
Okay, let's.
Who will it be?
Who is this lucky? This is my friend from Poland, Mana.
Well, it looks like Mana is our first contestant for tomorrow night, Caleris.
Yeah, certainly as our Polish representative here, getting an opportunity to play, and I'm very interested to see, as we haven't really seen too much of Mana lately.
Well, you know what? We're gonna see him tomorrow night. Who is he gonna be against? We're not gonna tell you yet. You have to tune in tomorrow night or you won't ever know. So thanks for watching and make sure we see you there.